Hello, viewers. Welcome to Reminiscences. Our guest today is Professor Buba Bajoga, who is a professor of engineering, electrical engineering. He taught for many years in Ahmadu Bello University before he moved to what became known as Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University as provost and later on as vice chancellor. He was the managing director of the Nigerian telecommunication, NITEL, for some time before he retired and before he left that job and went back to ABU, where he continued teaching until very recently. Prof, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
And I note that even though you were born in Nafada,
Yes.
you are better known as Buba Bajoga. I don't know why you are not known as Buba Nafada.
Well, I came to Bajoga when I was a small boy, about 4 or 5 years old. And I stayed there, started my Quranic education, then I went into primary school. When going to the senior primary school from Bajoga, each of us took their village names. Those coming from Bajoga are called Buba Bajoga. Those coming from Gombe, Sale Gombe. Those coming from Kaltungo, Ibrahim Kaltungo. So we were all bearing our villages as surnames. Of course, many people changed, but I decided to remain as Buba Bajoga.
So did you do your primary school also in Bajoga or in Nafada?
No, in Bajoga.
Yes.
But I came I was too young to do my primary education in Nafada.
Right.
In any event, I moved to Bajoga and started the primary education. I had a 4-year period of junior primary school in Bajoga before we took, I may say, an exam throughout the then Nafada district, comprising a large area of Gombe State now.
Yes.
There were 4 primary schools in 4 different villages. 4 students or pupils were drafted to come to Bajoga in 1954 to take an entrance examination to Gombe Senior Primary School. I was one of the 2 fortunate students to scale this hurdle.
From Bajoga?
From Bajoga.
Right.
And nobody from in that year,
Right.
no other candidate passed.
Yeah.
So 2 of us went to Gombe Senior Primary School.
Only 2?
Only 2.
Wow. How come you went to Government College Kaduna for your secondary school?
Yes. Initially I wanted to go to Brewer College.
Yes.
Because I had a cousin who, senior to me, who was in Brewer College, known as Government College Zaria.
Right.
But I did not qualify. In any event, my headmaster in particular wanted me to go to Zaria, to go to Kaduna, mainly because he thought I had talent for mathematics. But then, when I couldn't get to Zaria, I decided that I should go to Provincial Secondary School, Bauchi. No, he said no. Of course, I was lucky that I went to Kaduna, because at that time, Kaduna Government College was much better equipped to train students in terms of staffing and laboratory facilities.
Okene was where you did your HSC, Higher School Certificate.
Yes.
How was the experience moving from Well, you had moved to Kaduna, then
Yes.
you had moved on to Okeni.
Yes, but it was different. But at that age, one was mature enough to cope with situations. It was okay. It was very competitive. The environment was slightly different. The students were very hardworking. They were caught up, and the facilities, laboratory, library, and other facilities were very good. So we were lucky to be there, and we were lucky to have made good results, actually, I'll say.
So was the choice of engineering, which you said your headmaster
Yes.
saw the potential in you, did you really also embrace it? Is it something you, or you wanted to do something different?
Initially, I wanted to be a medical doctor. Instantly, I'm sure you know Dr. Bala Usman, who was my classmate, also wanted to be an engineer.
Engineer?
Yes. No, sorry, a medical doctor.
Okay.
When we were in Form 1, we were discussing that with him.
Where was this? Was this in Kaduna?
Kaduna Government College, yes.
Kaduna Government College?
Yes.
Okay.
We were not being prepared for anything but engineering. We were doing woodwork, we were doing metal work, we were doing technical drawing, mechanics, but we were not doing biology. So for me, it was good because I thought I more interested in engineering than medicine.
So Okene then prepared you for university.
Yes.
And eventually it was engineering.
Yes.
In ABU.
Yes.
Did you think ABU was it was a new university then, of course, in the north?
Yes.
Did you really want to go to ABU in particular, or is just what was available to you?
Well, it was the only university in the country available to me. What there was Nsuka.
In Ibadan?
Ibadan was teaching engineering.
Oh, I see.
And the Lagos was just starting. So really the best faculty of engineering in Nigeria was in ABU because it started since around 1955, 56, under the Nigerian college days. It's part of University College Ibadan. So, and there were facilities. Although, as a young chap, I could have preferred to go abroad, hoping that it would be better there.
How was Zaria of those days compared to the later Zaria that I got to know? I mean, and you know as a teacher.
Yeah. Well, Zaria was very good in the sense that there were facilities, but they
You came in 1962?
That was started in 1962.
Your program started
in 1965.
65, you came in.
Yeah, we were the fourth set.
The fourth.
Yes, yes. Many of the students in the hardcore sciences were Southerners.
Southerners,
Yes.
mostly.
There was a problem in 1966 when there was a crisis, because many of them left. So a class which was initially 36, I think, only 14 of us graduated. But we made a lot of friends from other parts of Nigeria. Yes.
So why was most of the student bodies from the south at that point?
This is the problem of secondary education. Actually, the results coming from many parts of the north were not the best at that time. If you went to HSC, many who went to HSC had to come back to ABU and do prelim because they were not able to scale through the program.
Yes.
It's a hard core program. So there weren't many students. Actually, it was difficult, even when I was staff in ABU, it was difficult to get enough students in sciences to enroll into engineering.
From the north?
From the north. Of course, I'm glad that now things are much different. I think things changed when SBS was started.
Yes. School of Basic Studies to
Yes.
upgrade the
Yes,
secondary school.
Yes.
You came out very well with first class out of the engineering faculty. And I think that gave you an immediate scholarship straight away to go to the US. How was that experience?
But it was good. I was fortunate, I would say, and I worked hard. But the facilities were there. The environment was good because I had a lot of good friends. I would say I was just lucky.
What kind of scholarship was it? And why did you go in the US?
I was taken to what they call SUNY, State University of New York at Buffalo. And I was there for 4 years. Because of our good foundation, when I went in, I was in the dean's list for quite some time, even in Buffalo.
Yeah. So you finished from Buffalo the PhD, but straight come back to the ABU.
Yes.
You had no other aspiration to go elsewhere, work abroad maybe?
No. Surprisingly, at that time, most of us who went abroad from, I may say, the far northern part of Nigeria, came back to ABU. I can't remember of any that was, or two things are responsible. One, the selection of those who went to America was very tight. So students who could make it were sent. And the leadership in ABU attracted us to come back. You know, the Shayaudu in particular.
The Vice Chancellor?
Yes. And those who came after him, really, they encouraged us.
Yes.
They made us feel that ABU was our home. So I had no attraction whatsoever of staying at that time.
I think Balawa Sumo used to say that, I don't know whether that is the period or later, but a lot of the northerners who did PhD, they are eyeing commissionership and other jobs in the state service. I don't know whether you had that kind of...
He was right, but we never did. I mean, if you look at this in the early years, the other person that went to America was late Professor Isa Muhammad.
Who?
Professor Isa Muhammad.
Isa Muhammad. You are not tempted to go to Bauchi or somewhere and be a commissioner?
No. Well, I didn't even have I didn't have the urge to go.
Yes.
And those that asked me, I said no. There was no...
How did you cope with the politics of ABU? Because that's another challenge. Besides your work, there was the politics.
There were two parts of it. There was the university politics. There was also the outside politics. We had a group comprising Professor Eddie Haya, Dr. Bala Osman, Dr. Haruna Rashid, Haruna Adamu, Dr. Sani Muazu, Professor Isa Muhammad, then an outsider, Alhaji Muhammad Jumari.
Muhammad Jumari?
Jumari, yes, from Zaria.
He was a businessman in Zaria?
No, he was working in the Zaria, I think either the state government or local government.
Right.
My humble self.
But he fitted with your group?
Yes. We used to relate very closely with the two PRP governments.
Yes.
In Kano and Kaduna.
Yes.
And we found it very interesting.
So you're all kind of radicals
At that time,
PRP
yes.
tradition.
Yeah,
Yes.
I may claim that that group made a recommendation to the two governors then to abolish tax. And
The Jangali.
Well, community tax and Jangali.
Community.
Haraji.
Right.
Yes, they accepted, and well, there were other problems on the way as well,
Yeah.
as you know.
But it's not known that you are so, because Bala Usman, for example,
Yeah.
he was out there, he was secretary to the government. But you were kind of sort of quiet.
Oh, yeah. Well, Bala was vocal, he's very articulate, he is tall, and, you know, but quite a lot of us took part in running some boats in Kano, in spite of the fact that we came from other provinces then, or other states, I would say.
You were chair of the rural electrification?
Yes, I was chairman of the electrification. Professor Isa Mohammed was the chairman of the, I think, higher education
in Kano.
And then there was another colleague of mine, classmate, Dr. Saleh Jibrin, who was chairman of business studies in Kano as well. So
you were all appointed by Rimi for this job?
Yes. Harun Adam was the managing director of Triumph.
That's right.
We were all, three of us were from Bauchi. Saleh, myself, and Haruna were all from Bauchi. We participated up to the time.
Saleh Jibrin, you said?
Saleh Jibrin, yes.
Jibrin.
Yes. But then the politics in ABU, initially it wasn't that bad. It was later that we mixed very well with people like Jerry Gana, Paul Mirchalam, others that from the middle belt. As a matter of fact, I think during the election of 1979, Professor Eddie Haya, Bala Osman, Harun Adamu were advising some of our colleagues to go to southern part of Zaria to vote, request their supporters or their people vote for PRP. And they did.
So you campaigned?
Yes.
You in the southern part of Zaria?
Yeah, yes. Especially people like Paul Mirchalam, Jerry Gana. They were really involved. Jerry went to Niger to become a senator at that time. You know, so then the politics of the university ABU. I think I can remember very vividly when the whole idea of what ABU should be was put in form of a document which we all discussed, and especially members from this group and others, of course, from the university, yes, and adapted. Some of it was implemented, some of it was, of course, left until later. But we were all going together. We were all supporters of the university administrations at that time.
You yourself eventually, of course, left.
Yes.
To go to Bauchi. Yeah. What were the circumstances of that?
Well, at the time I left, I wasn't very keen to go.
Yeah.
But all the same, there was a new government which merged, I think, 3 of the 7 universities with existing institutions, universities of technology. And Bauchi was one of them. The others were Abeokuta and Makadi. They were turned into campuses of the older universities.
Right.
Bauchi was a campus of ABU.
Right.
So the council, of the recommendation of the Vice Chancellor of ABU, deployed me to go to Bauchi.
By then you are a full professor?
I was a full professor.
And the head of electrical engineering department.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So I went there as the provost of a college, because the campus was converted to a college of Abubakar Tafawa Balewa.
Yes. So you continue from provost,
Yes.
you continue as vice chancellor.
Yes.
Yes. So you had a lot to do with nurturing this institution to what it is.
Inshallah.
Was it challenging being a local
Very,
person
very challenging.
to be a leader now in the...
Very challenging. Well, actually, I had a lot of support from the community. Of course, I had some conflicts with some elites.
Yes.
As a young man then, I had a claim of Bauchi State as any of them would. So I was not afraid of fighting them.
Yes.
They left me alone.
Yes.
I ran the university the way I thought, according to the rules and regulations of the institution.
But there must be pressure for
What?
employment, admission. And
All admission. Well, fortunately, you know, because of the problems of getting qualified science students, we're not getting enough candidates to come to the university initially. In fact, the surrounding states, such as Kano, and to some extent Plateau, gave us more students than Bauchi itself.
when did you leave Bauchi and where did you go from there?
I left Bauchi in December 1994 and went for sabbatical to the University of Birmingham.
In the UK?
In the UK. Right. It was when I was there that the then head of state, late General Sani Abacha, called me and asked me to come and be the managing director of NITEL.
Were you surprised by this approach?
I was.
Did you know him before?
I knew him.
Yes.
He was a very close friend of mine. He was a close friend, childhood friend of Professor Yaya Aliyu, the former director of Institute of Administration.
Zaria,
yes. So through Yaya, I met General Abacha many times.
Yes.
But then, earlier on, I was asked to be the managing director of NITEL when it was first established. But I thought that it was too early. I turned it down. So when I got this opportunity, especially after I finished my term...
Who made the first approach to you to head NITEL?
It was General Abdullahi, Ahmed Abdullahi.
Who was the minister?
Minister of Communication.
That's right.
Yeah, yes, but I said no. So I think it was during General Buhari's period.
Right.
When this opportunity came, I accepted. I came here, General Abacha introduced me to the then Minister of Communications, General Olarewaju.
Olarewaju?
Yes.
Right.
To tell him that I would be working, to tell me that I would be working with him, and he advised us to work together.
Yes.
So that made our working together with General Olarewaju to be very cordial. You may not know it, from my little experience, I found it easier to work with the soldiers than the politicians.
The politicians?
Yes.
Yes.
Because they listen to reason. You can come and tell them the reasons, your reasons of taking certain decisions, they'll accept it. Once the politicians are told that they should not do certain things, they feel that you are very combative. You insubordinate.
Did you work with politicians
Yeah,
to know this?
Yes.
In NITEL?
Yes. I had some ministers who I worked with.
Yes.
Yes. So I found that we worked better with the soldiers. So anyway, I came to NITEL. It was a challenging job, but I found a lot of my students in the organization holding high places. And they were very competent engineers, you know, and we worked as a team. I feel that we have done our best. I feel that we achieved a lot. It was this reason that some greedy, I may say, Nigerians wanted to privatize NITEL and take it over. So they were pushing us here and there. What they could not make us do as leaders of NITEL, which was government owned, they thought they could do it if they take it over one way or the other. There are a lot of problems for the privatization anyway. Of course, I'm glad that the whole thing collapsed. After I left, NITEL itself collapsed. They were not able to buy it, and it's very little. I know little of what NITEL is today, or if compared to what it was before. Of course.
But is it there now? Is there NITEL?
It was supposed to have been bought over,
yes,
and renamed.
Yes.
But it has no impact.
But don't you think, Prof, it reflects poorly on you that after leaving,
Yes.
this big national institution collapsed immediately?
Not immediately. It took some time. I think about the collapse of NITEL was gradual. I left in January January 2000.
2000.
2000, yes.
You were there for how many years?
I was there for 4.25 years.
Yes.
Yes, and
so you left as soon as Abacha is no more.
exactly.
Yes.
Yes. But the leadership of NITEL was very good. I left a good leadership. They were very good. They were very competent. They were replaced. Some new leaders were appointed. They also, I think some of them were, they used to have a lot of replacements. And if you look at it carefully, you'll see that it was not unconnected with some politicians, either from the top or middle or somewhere, trying to do one thing or the other. I feel sad that an organization that I spent 4 years of my life has collapsed and gone. And I'm sure they could have, it could have done better. In any event, the problem of NITEL is not different from the problem of the other parastatals. What do you have in NEPA? What was NEPA compared to what it is today?
So what is the problem? You said the problems are similar, all these parastatals.
There are many.
What is the problem?
Well, let's see the problem first. Most of the privatized companies in Nigeria are not doing better than they were when they were sold. Most. In fact, it's difficult to say that this company was being run under the federal government. Today, it's much better.
Yes, because it's private.
Because it's private.
Yes.
Even the banks that were owned by government, say AfriBank,
yes,
was owned by the federal government.
Bank of the North.
Bank of the North. They were privatized and they've all gone. You know. Now you have this Union Bank.
Yes.
It's been tossed here and there because of greed and corruption. That's crept in.
So the problem was corruption.
I believe.
People put in charge,
yes,
took care of themselves, not the institution.
Exactly. And they were saying that they would make these companies more effective, more efficient. The result at the end of the day is different. It's very unfortunate, but it is sad Very sad.
What will you say were your main achievements in NITEL?
Well, we have an organization that was evolving. We were not getting grants from government, but we were able to have a network that was not doing well, which was mainly analog. We, through our own effort and our own money collection, were able to build it, though gradually things were better. The interconnect problems were drastically reduced, especially in the media centers. The profit was very high, but NITEL was making more profit than most establishments in the country. It came to a time when, even when the management of NITEL wanted to borrow borrow some funds to expand their network, the government said no. They would sell it, so they would not take. The company should not borrow any money.
You had enough to do it?
No, they wanted to sell it, so they didn't want to build it to sell.
Yes.
Because in my view then, I think it was because they wanted to sell it cheap. Now if you build it, you have to pay more.
Yeah.
But fortunately, or rather unfortunately, all those that were trying to take over NITEL by all means failed. And that the day.
How much did you move from analog to digital during this period?
Oh, a lot. The major cities like good part of Lagos, Kaduna, Enugu, Ibadan, many of the major cities were provided with digital exchanges. The interconnect, the network itself has also improved drastically. We're in the process of course, we didn't have money to do everything together.
Yeah.
For various reasons. We were building it section by section. We moved into southeast, we moved southwest, we had northern parts, northwest. All these were digitized at that time.
But I must say, what people remember about NITEL is the long time it took for you to get a telephone. I think the contrast between then, even the mobile arm, I think, what was it called? You had a mobile arm.
Yes, we had, yes. Well, NITEL.
NITEL.
Yes.
Again, the processes are cumbersome, time. And suddenly when the new companies came, everybody was fairly liberated. You can just go and buy your...
You are right. There are two issues. One, the expansion was very slow. So there was a lot of demand, the supply was very limited. That made it difficult for reducing drastically the corruption in the system. Most of these things were caused by greed of various organizations, including some of our colleagues. That's one. Secondly, we had a culture. It's very difficult to die off. Now, I'm glad that MTN came as a unit and got established by itself as private organization. The same people that were there when MTN came in were unable to do similar things to NEPA. I feel that today NEPA is worse than it was before, in my view. Compared to, if you consider the resources that have been pumped into it. So, yes, you are right. But the expansion was rather slow. It was slow because we were not getting government funds at that time. It was what we collected that we would use to extend the network.
Under what circumstances did you leave NITEL? Because I remember there were some controversies, court
Yes,
cases, and
yes,
accusations.
Well, I think my time expired. The time was a 4-year term.
Yes.
When they expanded when it finished,
Yes.
it wasn't renewed
Yes.
until a new government came in. No, I think it finished when the new government was in power.
This was the Obasanjo government.
Obasanjo government.
Yes.
Well, I think rightly so they decided that they needed a new face. They didn't bring a new face. It was one of my executive directors who was promoted to be the marine director.
Yes.
But I believe that that might have come in as a result of some petitions.
Yes.
The lot of these petitions, then after I left, there was a commission, a judicial commission of inquiry set up.
To look at your tenure.
To look at my tenure.
Yes.
I don't know. It's easy. It's not easy to see the system very well if you are in it. But I felt that there were a lot of demands made on a company like NITEL. Some people felt that this country belonged to them. They would have to take whatever they want, or rather whatever they ask for. I had a lot of quarrels with people. And so I made some friends, but perhaps many enemies. So especially the political class,
Yes.
who wanted to go to election, they want money, they think that you should just take money and give them. So, but as a result of my departure, based on the petitions sent, a judicial commission of inquiry was established. And I believe that, well, I don't have any reason to feel that I did not make mistakes. I made some mistakes, obviously, but I have not made any deliberate mistake, or I did not take any deliberate action that could result in the failure of the network, or loss of revenue, or loss of integrity of the network.
So you were so displeased with the outcome of this inquiry, you had to go to court, right? To exonerate yourself.
Yes.
Yes.
I believed that the whole judicial commission of inquiry was to find me in particular, and perhaps members of my management, guilty. Partly because we were appointed by General Abacha, who I think is a great soldier, a patriot. Because of what happened earlier, you know. That's why they were trying to look at one fault for the other. Unfortunately for them, they were not able to find anything tangible. You have seen what is happening now, that people move billions from one account to another. And I not even been accused of moving anything from one account to another, because the network, the system we had would not allow you. There were people, I didn't sign any check. I was not a signatory because there were others who were doing it. But then they had to find fault when they decided that we were guilty here and there. I had to go to court. Unfortunately, fortunately for me, the court exonerated me and quashed all their findings as regard to me. And the whole thing then collapsed. Yeah. So it's unfortunate that people can be mean, you know, but I guess maybe this is life.
So was it, with hindsight, was it a very unhappy experience for you leaving the university to the real world of business and government now?
Well, I've seen more than I expected. In the university, things are straightforward. If you meet people like, well, I'll tell you what he thinks, honestly and openly.
Yes.
You now meet people who would tell you something they don't believe in, and the minute you go, they change. So now the two worlds are different. It's what has caught up with us now. It's what has caught up with us now. And unless we reverse it, we'll be in trouble. You know, definitely the so-called business world, especially the one that we now have, where everything that belongs to government is being taken over by a few people. Pretty soon, 2 or 3 people may own more than what the federal government can afford. You see people growing, becoming billionaire, trillionaires, I guess. So I wish the government would look at the interests of the ordinary man. That is the only way that could enable us to have a stable society. If you have a country where many people are extremely poor and a few people are rich, you will not be free of instability.
Do you have hope? Looking at the situation now, how the country is going?
I really don't have hope. I don't have hope. I don't think that what we've been hearing about the central bank and other business areas are encouraging. They are not encouraging. The stories we hear are very, they make you sick, you know. So the hope is, well, God can change things overnight.
Yes.
I pray and hope that we'll get these changes come during our lifetime. Otherwise, I pity our children and grandchildren. See, I was young when we were talking about the northernization policy. And to demonstrate the foresight of the northern government, there was a time when in this country, 4 managing directors of companies were appointed from the same institution that was Technical Institute. You had the managing director of NEPA, the managing director of Ports Authority, the managing director of NNPC, and the managing director of NITEL. They are all product of Kaduna Technical Institute. It used to be Technical Institute and Trade Center, but they moved Trade Center to Ilorin. You know, and you could see that.
So was that what became Kaduna Polytechnic?
Yes.
Yes.
You could see that.
They all came from there.
They all came from there. Yes. You could see that they were foresighted. See that they could build an institution that could really develop a nation. I'm not sure now we have similar leaders. I don't know. As I said, I always believe that God is kind. He can make everything.
So Prof, what do you do now? Since you left NITEL, what do you do? Just 20 years now plus.
After leaving NITEL, I went back to ABU.
Right.
And I'm glad to say that I got back to the classroom. I supervised quite a lot of students who got PhDs, master's degrees, in ABU, many actually. I may claim, and before I went to the department, things were really bad. God being so kind, when I went there, we were able, together with the younger ones, to start postgraduate programs that produce many of the professors in the electrical engineering department. You know, so I feel good that I have tried to contribute, even if I don't succeed doing as much as I would like. I have succeeded in helping to establish a system that sustains the department of engineering today.
But I believe you have stopped teaching now. You have stopped your association with ABU.
Yes.
Why?
Two things. One, I remained in Abuja because my family were here, or are here now. I was commuting between Abuja and Zaria. It was very easy because you could travel during the day, you could travel, not until when the system almost collapsed, when we had bandits all over the place. So each time I left Abuja, my mind would not be at rest until I returned. You know, so it was coupled with this. There was this government policy, which they called EPIS or IPIS, which forced all universities to have the salaries being paid from Abuja here.
I think that has been reversed recently.
That has been reversed.
Yes.
Hopefully this would now change. Then the work of a vice chancellor is not an easy one. The vice chancellor has a lot of responsibility. He has also a lot of powers. If you have got a good vice chancellor, he can make. But if you have got a bad one, he can break. If my information is correct, now I see some vice chancellors being accused of losing money. So there are few. But it's not the type of thing that you expect.
Yes.
If you see the great Nigerians that have done so. With this power now, I think many universities could do much better than they are doing. But it is not, I'm surprised to see that somebody could think of putting all the salaries of universities, not one or two, far away from the institutions here in Abuja. It's wrong. But I'm glad that has been.
You don't teach anywhere now?
No, I don't.
So what do you spend your time doing?
Unfortunately for me, I have quite a number of small grandchildren, 3 years, 2 years. They come here and, but I do some reading. I also do some I may say tutoring, because I still do
mentoring, maybe.
Yes, well, those that have masters or PhD candidates can send me to assess their candidates.
So you still supervise some thesis, or you just
not
formally?
Just formally.
Yes.
When a man finishes his PhD, it's sent to people to read,
yes,
make corrections.
Reader, yes.
So this is the type of thing I do, but not heavy thinking type of work now.
I note that your PhD is actually in digital communication.
Yes.
Does that make you, these days we talk about digital natives, and those of who grew analog and later learned. So are you digital native because of your field of study?
No,
or
actually,
your grandchildren have to show you?
No, I think actually we are extending the meaning of digital now. Everything is becoming digital. By digital, the meaning of digital, in my view, is to run away from analog networks we had. At the time the digital networks came in, analog were very good, so you couldn't scrap them, but you could add the digital networks alongside the analog ones. But it's not, as you said, making everything that is good digital and everything that is bad analog. I think the world is not that thinly demarcated.
So are you comfortable with the new gadgets of this world now that have come in?
You
That
will be
your
surprised.
grandchildren may be able to
You'll
do
be
better than
surprised.
you.
Oh, yes. You'll be surprised that today, even those that are in primary school, secondary school, they solve problems much faster, I may say even better, than the analog product we had produced earlier. Because somehow, I think, we are developing a culture where young people are learning to manage computers and other technologies. It's a good development. Now, only worry is that we are still importing these things. We do not make them. So you hear a country like Nigeria is an important country. We import everything. Import food, we import. When you talk about privatization, we would have expected that making a television set, camera, digital camera, is more private than just buying them and then calling it private. You know, we have been unable to establish factories to produce these digital devices we're talking about. I don't know of any city where you produce sizable number of electronics devices. It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
We were doing better before because we had some radios which were being assembled here or there. Now, we have grown a culture, I don't know why, but we have developed a culture of dependency. Yeah, we just steal government money, become billionaire and all that. And some people steal even more than they need. So that mentality, I think this is the problem for education. I have spent all my life in one way or the other teaching, but I think we have failed to inculcate in our youth the idea of being self-sufficient, making Nigeria a self-sufficient country. You know, we become more dependent today than we were before.
Are you self-sufficient as a retiree? Are you comfortable now?
No. Well, I mean, I'm happy. At least I can have 3 square meals a day. I have a place to sleep. Almost, my children have finished their schooling, so the demand. But I have to look after my health, which I have to do.
Is that challenging? Do you have to go out? Or?
Yes.
Yes.
If you have any challenge, you have to go out.
Yes.
There aren't many, I may say, known hospitals that could look after your challenges. And as you know, as you get older,
Yes.
the tendency is one thing or the other would be wrong.
Yes.
So now you have to go abroad. I can tell you that earlier on, in ABU, for instance, I had no problem with regard to health challenges. Well, we were younger, but if your child falls sick, all you need to do is to take him to either the sick bay or the teaching hospital. You have colleagues, friends, they will look after him. So you really, we were really happy.
Yeah.
But I don't think the same thing is true today. Even in the universities, the dedication required of many professionals today is different from what it used to be before. And unless you are dedicated to your work, no matter what you get, it will not be sufficient. I believe that we have to, this idea of self, it's not helping us. We have to learn to be a brother's keeper. We have to know that if there is happiness in the villages, the cities will be happy. There is unrest in the villages, there will be unrest in the city. And so we are leaving a system that was very good, I would say. I, for instance, did not pay school fees. We had, I don't know what was your in time, but we had a good scholarship in the university, you know, and so we have every reason to say that we like this because of what. Today, a young man of 20 years, why should he be patriotic? He is not getting good education, and the education has to be paid for. Doesn't have a good welfare system, doesn't have a good health system. Even though everyone is very expensive, you know, he's hustling here and there. So when you talk about Nigeria or the North or the West, these things are abstract against what we had because everything was there. We could see it and we could feel it. So I don't know. That's why I pity our children and grandchildren.
How is family life for you? Are you
beautiful.
Have a large one?
Not large. I have my wife. I have 5 children, and I have now 8 grandchildren. So we are comfortable. They are all here in Abuja. So I'm very lucky and very happy in that extent.
So what is like a typical day for you?
Well, if I wake up in the morning, I pray, then I do some reading of the Quran after I finish my well, I have a small booklet that I read every day, early morning, before reading the Quran. I read section by section, but in a continuous form. After that, I go and buy a newspaper. I read the newspaper. I read mainly.
Physically, you go?
I have somebody who brings
papers
for me.
So you don't read it on the tablet. You read the physical copy.
Yeah. The only one I got it from the tablet, was the one on which you interviewed Amin Uri. I got that one from because by the time I heard about it,
yes, it was gone.
It was gone.
Yes.
But I have to say that you have done the country well, because apparently the media is all in one side of the country. But you and the others, the leadership and the rest, have got some up here. A great achievement.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you. Viewers, I think this is a good point to come to the end of our interview with Professor Buba Bajoga, Professor of Electrical Engineering, former Managing Director of NITEL, and now quietly retired here in Abuja. Until we meet in another edition of Reminiscences, thank you for joining us and goodbye.